Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We have been working on this awesome Bally Wizard legendary game. We did one video where we worked down in the bottom of the cabinet, and it's kind of limping along, but it's not scoring very well, and it's got a lot of issues still. But we're going to work on it today. So today we're going to work on the Playfield. We did the mech board yesterday, score motor and all of that, and today we're going to mess around with the bottom of the playfield and probably the top of the playfield if we have time. But basically it's playing, but a lot of the feature lights aren't working, it's not scoring right and all of that. So let's lean up the playfield, let's look at the bottom of it and see what we can service and see if that gets us a little closer to a fully functioning machine. So this was from the mid-70s, and it is just packed with stuff. This just has a lot going on. So you got the two flippers up here, of course, and then the two kicker assemblies. You've got a whole bank of relays here hanging on the bottom of the playfield. You've got 3 thumper bumpers. You've got a bonus unit. You've got a whole stack of relays over here, too. This is typical of Bally in the 70s. You've got rollover switches. You've got a saucer up at the top in the middle. It was on like half the Bally's. You've got these 4 flags that flip over on the playfield. This is this assembly here with 4 coils to fire them back. You've got a whole lot of lamps, a couple rollover switches there as well. And that's about it. Hat tip to sticks. That's how he always ends his stuff. So we got to just clean all this stuff. We got to get everything functioning well and functioning properly. So I think the first thing I'll do is go through and change all of the light bulbs, because none of these bonus lights seem to be working. Which could be the bulbs are all burnt out, or it could be that there's a problem with the this bonus unit here. But we're going to get through all of that. So I'm going to go through and start replacing all of the light bulbs. I like to pull them out one at a time and then clean the bottom of the lens. You can clean it with a Q-tips. It depends on how bad it is. If it's not that bad and it's just kind of dirty, sometimes you can use a little paintbrush and just dust it off like as a duster. But if you have to clean it, you can, spray a little Windex or something in there and polish it up. We have our friends over here playing Call of Duty over in the other room, having a good time, so disregard them. But basically I'm going to do the lights first and get that out of the way, and then we'll go on from there. So I pulled all the old bulbs out one at a time and replaced them with nice new ones. Ooh. I turned it off because all this stuff's live and you're kind of tight in some places, like reaching these, and then if you're like your hand hits that, bzzz, so you don't necessarily want that. So I swapped them all, and I think next I'll go through and clean all of the switches. Like, the whole thing with all this is you have to kind of systematically do it, or you'll miss something. So it looks like there's all kinds of stuff going on. And to people that are new to it or haven't done that many of them, it's very daunting. It's very daunting. You see it and you go, oh, look at all that crap. There's stuff everywhere. How could you ever know what to mess with? Well, you do it with systems. So I just did all of the light bulbs. So about half those wires are going to light bulbs. We don't have to worry about any of that anymore. If we later find a light bulb that's not working, we'll know it's not the actual bulb. It might be the socket needs some work, or it's whatever sends the power to the bulb, but all the bulbs are done. Okay. So now if I go by and I clean every one of the switches that's flat on the board, right? Not these, not the relays, just all the switches that are on the playfield, like these. And make sure they're all adjusted right. Well, then that's out of the way. You don't have to worry about that anymore. And then after that, you can go and look at all the relays and see if all the relays look right. And then when that's done, you don't have to worry about that anymore. So you just systematically break it down into smaller parts and work through it. And before you know it, after an hour or two, you've already touched everything under the playfield, looked at all of it, made sure it was all cool. So when I did the light bulbs, I was able to clean them out, like I was saying, get all the dust out of there. And I didn't have to do any of them wet. I was able to use a little paintbrush, a little chip brush to dust them out. I feel like an archaeologist. Yeah, so I did that. So let me do all of the flat switches, and we'll see if any of those have any issues. If I find one that's weird, I will let you know. So I got all them. The ones here on these flags, the 4 flags that flip over. They're kind of hard to get to, but you don't have to remove the setup. You can actually get to them through the side here. And I use a long needle file, a flat file, that you can get in there to clean between the contacts. Right. So I got them, and you saw a second ago, I've got this unplugged. I'm going to clean these Jones plugs too. So these little male plugs, if they get all corroded or oxidized, they might not make good contact with this, make something not work. What I usually do too is I pinch them together a little bit so that they grab the thing a little better. Alright, just to make sure all of your signals are running good and everything's cool. So we'll do that next. While we're here, we'll do these pop bumpers. The pop bumpers, they have 2 sets of switches usually. So the one on the top is the one that makes it pop. So basically, there's a little plastic piece sticking through the playfield, and it hits a little spoon, they call it, that makes a contact hit the other blade. And you need to get it so no matter where you hit it, it makes that blade move. Right? This one is just barely moving, so it might want it to be a little bit closer. If the you can have that adjusted in such a way that it hangs to where it'll get stuck. That little plastic piece will like get stuck like that to where it's always on. That's bad. It'll burn up the coil. So if it's like that, it's because you need to recenter this spoon on the plastic piece. Right? So it doesn't look like that one's that bad though. So you just want that to be, the switch to be open and then close when the little plastic thing rides up on the spoon. And you want it to do it pretty much 360 so that no matter how the ball hits it, it will make the pop bumper pop. And then the other one here is when it pulls in, this little piece opens the switch. Right? So what happens is you hit that top one, and it turns on the relay for the thumpa bumpa. Left thumpa bumpa relay. It turns that on. That relay pulls in and connects a switch that makes you score points, connects a switch that sends power down to the coil to turn it on, and then connects a switch that does something else, whatever, who knows. But whenever it pulls in, it locks on until this opens this switch, which turns the pop bumper relay off. And they do that so that you definitely get all of your points, right? Because you know sometimes on these pop bumpers the ball's going around really quick. So they want to make sure it locks on. A lot of the relays in the game lock on. That's just kind of how they designed it, just to make sure that you get a good on the score reel and it turns over 1 point or one position. Okay, so let me adjust those 3 and we'll move right on along. So now we're up to these relays. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Those are the 4 flags. It has something to do with them, how they score and all of that. And then this is the top thumper bumper relay and the light spinner relay. So I'll clean all these switches and make sure they're all adjusted correctly, and then we'll lay the playfield down so we can get to all of these ones. I don't even know what they are. Alright, so here's the ones on this thing. So it's the number 4 flip, the number 3 flip, the number 2 flip, the number 1 flip, and then what's that one say? Flip reset. And this one says bonus advance. So if I remember correctly, when you roll over the button, I don't remember. I think when you roll over the button, it pulls in that relay, and then if it's if you hit the switch that flips it, it pulls these in. Whatever, I don't know. But if you look, so I look through these, this one's messed up. You might not see it at first, but these are lock relays. So they go one way or the other way, and they stay that way. So this is the reset, and lets that back out. And then if this one pulls in, it locks it that way. And they do that so that it doesn't have to hold on the whole time. Right? So you can see how it works. This reset one, when this pulls in, it slides off of that little piece there and lets this go past it. And then when this pulls in, it allows that to go up on it. Right, so it locks back and forth. These are really common. We saw one on the previous video for the game over. But look what we have going on here. What in the world? So this thing is stuck. Let's see if it's just physically stuck. Yep. I guess I got the magic touch. It was just physically stuck. I don't know what that was all about, but you saw it here, folks. Alright, so I cleaned all those switches. Everything seems cool. The only thing we've got left is that bonus unit, and we don't know if the flag thing works right. We're going to have to play it again after we mess with the bonus unit. So let me put the playfield back up where we can get a good look at the bonus unit and make sure it's all working properly. This bonus unit, it seemed to be working when we were playing it, but none of the lights were lighting up. So I don't know what that's all about. But basically you got one coil that moves it one way and one coil that moves it the other way. Yeah, it's actually working pretty good. So that would have been like maybe how you step it up, and then when at the end of the game, or the end of the ball, it does it back one at a time like this, because it's counting each time. Is this one of those? Sometimes Bally had one that could do three things. It could reset it one step at a time like that, so that you could count it, and it could also reset it all at once. I think that was actually Williams that did that. But so it could be one of these little fingers isn't touching right. I'm sure that's what lights up the light. You would think. They look like they're touching fine. Alright, so I'm going to clean the switches, and I'm going to clean the rivets on this board to make sure it's making good contact. And I'm going to look on the schematics to make sure of what lights up those lights. That's a little shinier. I cleaned the switches back here. They seem adjusted properly. There is a little piece that hits the switch as it goes around. There's a little, if I can see it. Where is it? I guess it's way down here. Yeah, there. That little post goes around and hits the switch to open them and close them, which it should do at one extreme or the other. And then the rivets I cleaned with a little light sandpaper, and then I put a little bit of synthetic grease on it. You want to use dielectric synthetic grease. The purpose of that is to make it where this can move with little friction. Makes it where it steps up and down really nice. You can get that stuff at the hardware store, or if you want to order it online, if you use our link on our website, it gives us a little tip for this and all the other stuff that we use in our videos. So if you want to see all that stuff, go to lionsarcade.com, and at the top of the page we have a parts page with stuff like that linked on it. Most of the links are on Amazon. Alright, so that seems to be done, and just like that, we've done everything on the playfield. It looks like there's all kinds of stuff on here, but really, once you start messing with it, it's not that bad. We didn't mess with the flippers yet. I shouldn't say everything. The flippers, I usually like to wait till last to do those, because it's there's also some alignment things on the top. You want to get them where they're aimed right and stuff, and that's more of like a top of the playfield thing. These don't look that bad. I think we played it and they were pretty strong, but we could certainly put a new sleeve and maybe a new plunger on them. Let's see if the plunger has a lot of play in it. It has a little bit. That one's wobbling around. Oh, I guess it was this. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see how they play. They seem strong to me, but the thing is sitting very flat too. So the back legs are about even with the front legs, and everybody thinks that's how they're supposed to be. No, they're not supposed to be like that. I don't know where anybody ever got that idea. Maybe on the more modern games, but on the old games, they're not supposed to be like that. The back ones should be out higher than the front ones. You can use a gauge and try to get the slope just right. We usually get it to where it plays nice. I mean, we don't ever measure it or anything. So yeah, I didn't see anything wrong with this that would make the lights not work. So let's look on the schematics and see if there's something we missed or whatever. So here are the schematics, and it's a very simple thing for the lights. There's the lights, and they're just connected to one side power and then to the other side, and what changes it is a little wiper on the bonus unit. So maybe that just wasn't making good contact, who knows. But it certainly should have been. Maybe every bulb was burnt out. That wouldn't be the first time. All right, so I think we're ready to lay it back down and test play it again and just see if anything's different. We haven't done anything in the back box yet, even the Jones plugs back there. So that could be a deal. But we've done everything in the coffin of the machine. We just haven't done the top of the playfield yet. But we'll lay it down and play another game and see if anything's changed, and then we'll start working on the top of the playfield. All right, let's see if it'll cooperate. I'm most interested in, did we fix the bonus lights? I think we did. I saw one flash for just a second. You saw it, didn't you? It's still way too flat. We haven't adjusted that yet. And we need to work on this shooter rod, obviously. Yeah, still a lot of the stuff isn't scoring. So it gave me 4,000 points, and it just gave me another 1,000 and another 1,000 and another 1,000 and another 1,000. So it's still, something is massively wrong. We're gonna have a lot of fun troubleshooting this one. I like when they're like this. It gives me something to show you on camera. Yeah, it's not scoring. But that could be something in the back box that we haven't even messed with yet. So let's try. This is supposed to advance the bonus. So that's scoring 500, and it kind of sounds like something's clicking down here, so I don't know if it's advancing the bonus or not, but we're not getting our lights, okay? It gave us 8,000 points. So it's doing something with the bonus, but you never see it. So that'll be something we can troubleshoot later. But I think it's time to work on the top of the playfield, because I don't want to keep playing it with an old ball and with dirt all over it. You're going to end up harming the finish. So there is very little wear on this. There's really nothing to even mention. There's a little bit around the pop bumpers up there. The customer made it pretty clear that they're not too concerned about the cosmetics of it and how it looks. They just want it to play great. So we're going to clean it up, wax the crap out of it, and put all new rubber rings on it. So this is what we're starting with, and I'll let you watch Joe work through that playfield, and then we'll come back. Right, so this is how it came out after we cleaned it up. A little bit of wear around the pop bumpers, but all in all, pretty good. I see a little piece of plastic up there. I wonder if that's a piece of the pop bumper. That kind of looks like part of the skirt. Nope, that's something else. When you are working on these, let's say like you break something down here and there's something laying like that. When you pick the Playfield up, everything goes down to here. So you always find stuff down here and then can't tell where it came from. It's a little bit curved, so I don't know what that's from. Oh, it might be a piece of the side of the pop bumper. I don't see any broken, but maybe. So I think it came out pretty good. It's a good looking game. It's in pretty decent shape, but it's not ready for prime time yet. So we're going to have to do a little bit more work on it. So we'll see you on the next video where we will get into the back box. What a beautiful back glass. Now if you like Bally's Wizard, you know the companion game to this was Captain Fantastic and the Dirt Brown Cowboy, the Elton John album that they turned into a pinball machine because they both had a association with the movie Tommy. So if you want to check that out, we worked on one of those a while back. We'll put it right here. So we'll see you on the next video. I hope you enjoyed it.